this video, we're going to look at string methods for JavaScript. Hey guys, John Elder here from Codemy.com, and JavaScript has all kinds of cool built-in methods that allow you to manipulate strings in all kinds of different ways, from changing them from uppercase to lowercase, to splitting them apart, to pulling things out of them, to replacing things inside of them. All kinds of cool stuff we could do with these built-in methods, and that's what we're going to look at in this video. So let's head over to our code. I'm using the Sublime Text Editor and the Git Bash terminal as always. And as always, you can find a link to the code in the pinned comment section below, as well as a link to the playlist with all the other videos in this JavaScript series, so check that out if you haven't so far. And if you like this video, want to see more like it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com, where I have dozens of courses with thousands of videos that teach you to code. Use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off lifetime memberships, all my courses, videos, and books for a one-time fee, which is insanely cheap. Okay, so I've got a file. I'm calling it string_methods.html. It's our basic starter code that we always have. And let's just come down here and create a string. So I'm going to say let name equal, let's just say John Elder, lowercase, all good things. And let's start out by knocking out the easy ones. Let's change this all to uppercase. So here we've got our document get element ID thing that we always use. And we want to print out our name variable to the screen. It'll put it up in this p tag as always. And to change John Elder to all uppercase, we just call the toUpperCase function. Now, if we save this and head over to our web browser, go to our C/JavaScript directory where we're saving these files, come down here to string methods, and here says John Elder, all capital, right? Very cool. And I think I'm just going to comment all of these things out so that they'll be in the code in the future if you want to read it. So, okay. Now, we could just print out the name just to make sure that actually worked. So, come back here, hit reload. Now it's all lowercase again, as we would expect. Very cool. Now, we could change this to, I don't know, John Elder, like that. How do we make it all lowercase? Well, same thing. We just call name dot to lowercase. Save this guy, head back over here, hit reload, and again, boom, John Elder, which has been changed from, capital J and capital E in regular John Elder. So very cool, super simple. All right, so what else can we do? Well, we can pull out any sort of character, sort of like we were pulling an item from an array by calling an indexed number. So this string, every character in here has an index number. So the J is 0. All indexes start at 0 in almost all programming languages. So J is 0, O is 1, H is 2, 3, the space is 4, etc. And we can come through here and we could pull this out by calling .charAt, short for character at, and then just passing in a number. So if we want 2, that would be 0, 1, 2. That would pull out the H. So if we save this, head back over here, hit reload, sure enough, H. Very cool. Now, a couple of years ago, and I want to say 2002, they added a new thing that was very similar. Instead of .charAt, it's just .at. And this allows negative numbers as well. So if we call -2, and you'll notice this is a lowercase a, whereas before this one was uppercase a little bit different, right? Keep that in mind. Come back over here, hit reload, and we get an E. What in the world is that? This is -1, and this is -2. So we're getting that E. If we want the D, that would be -3. It starts from the other end. So that's kind of handy. A lot of times you want to pull the last thing, right? So this is a handy way to do that. So, okay. So that's charAt and at. What else can we do? We can pull out a slice of anything we want. So let's call .slice. And let's say we want from 0 to 4. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. It won't pull out this space, I don't think. It'll just go up to 4. So let's save this. This should print out just John. All right, so we come back here, hit reload, sure enough. And we can confirm by coming up here and kind of smooshing these together. And if it prints out the E, then we know it does not. Go ahead and save this, come back over here, reload this just to make sure. Sure enough, it does not print out that E. So that is for sure, it's going from 0 up to, but not including 4, because 4 is this space right here, or the E if we do it like that. So that's slice, very cool. Comment that out. we can also call slice on a negative index number. So let's say -5. Now this just won't get the 5th thing from the back, as you might expect. It will get the 5th thing from the back and anything after it. So if we call -5, that would be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. It does include up until the number -5 and everything to the right of that. So this should return elder. Come back over here, hit reload, boom, elder. Very cool. So very handy for pulling stuff out of strings. All kinds of reasons why you might want to do that. And just that simple. So what else can we do? Well, we can trim this. So for instance, if we have some space before and after, we can .trim, and this will pull out all of that white space at the beginning and the end. Okay, so if we save this, it's going to be kind of hard to tell, but sure enough, there is no space. If I kind of highlight this, there's no space before and after. Whereas otherwise, let's come back over here and let's just print out our .name. Save this and reload. Now when we do this, you'll notice there's some space. When I go like this, see there's a little bit of space after that. So it's trimming that off. Same thing in front of it. So that's cool. Lots of reasons why you might want to use that. What else? Well, we can just trim the end, right? So let's go trim end. And you'll notice most of the time when there's two of these, two words, like toUpper or even 3, the first one is lowercase. The second one is uppercase. That's camel case. That's sort of a thing in JavaScript. So I don't keep that in mind. So same thing here. Save this, reload, highlight this. There's no space behind it anymore. We can also comment this guy out. Well, what else can we do? Well, we can also, let me take out my spaces here. We can also repeat. So let's say name.repeat, and then we can pass in how many times we want to repeat this. So if I want to repeat it 5 times, just pass a 5 in there, come back over here, hit reload, John Elder, 5 times. You'll notice there's no spaces in between. You could concatenate spaces in there if you wanted, but very cool. Easy to repeat stuff. And we can also replace. So let's go .replace, and let's replace John with Tim. Kind of hard to read. I'll just do it like that. So this will go through here, find one instance of John, and replace it with Tim. So let's go ahead and save this and reload. And sure enough, Tim Elder. Now we can also replace all. So if we come back over here and go John, now if we run the same thing, it says Tim Elder, John, because remember, this replace only replaces the first instance that it finds, right? So that's not great. If you want to replace all instances, you guessed it, replace all. And again, we can pass in John, and let's change it to Mike this time. I don't know. Let's get crazy. Mike it is. Head back over here, reload. Now it's Mike Elder, Mike. All of the instances of John have been replaced. And just that easy. Now, finally, we can split these things apart. And this is really kind of cool. And we can convert the things in a string into an array based on whatever we've decided to split them by. So I'm going to create a new variable. I'm going to call it my_array. And we're going to set that equal to our name.split. And then we pass in what do we want to split by. Well, the only thing we really have to split by is a space. So I'm just going to put a space there, right? Now, if you had, for instance, commas separating these things or something like that, or semicolons or anything at all, you would, in here, you would put a comma or a semicolon, or that's a semicolon, or a whole colon, or whatever, or a dash, or anything you wanted to split these by. Now, we can, let me grab one of these guys here. And instead of printing out name, let's print out my_array. Now let's just print out the whole thing and see what this looks like. You'll notice you can't really tell it's an array, but now they're all separated by commas because items in an array are separated by commas. So if we wanted to pull out elder, that would be the 1th item in our array, right? So we could call the 1th item in our array. Now it's a handy dandy elder. Very cool, very powerful. You'll use that for all kinds of things. There's so many times when you have a long string of things, you want to make it into an array, or any sort of text and you want to make it into an array. You could use this also for numbers, I suppose. Anything you want, swap it into an array, and then you have that array. You can do array type things. You can iterate over that array as always using loops or whatever. Very cool. So those are just some of the more popular string methods that JavaScript has. Super easy to use. This is object oriented, so you just slap a period at the end of your variable. toUpperCase, toLowerCase. The only thing that I don't like about JavaScript and their string methods is they don't have a title case. So a lot of times, like if we started out John Elder, if I wanted to, we could change them all to uppercase with toUpper, and it looks like you're screaming, but there's no real good method to change it to John Elder like this. And every other programming language has a title case. I mean, all of them, except for JavaScript for some reason. You have to hack around and build your own function to do that. We're not even going to look at that in this video, but other than that, all kinds of cool things you could do with these built-in string methods with JavaScript, and it's just that easy. So that's all for this video. If you liked it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out codemy.com where you can use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off lifetime membership. So that's access to all my courses, over 60 courses, thousands of videos, and the PDFs of all my best-selling coding books. Join over 200,000 students learning to code just like you. My name is John Elder from codemy.com, and I'll see you in the next video.